Good morning, everybody. Um, I'm probably the only one up in the cabin right now. Um, it's 5:15 a.m. Tuesday morning, December the 1st, and I just finished 30 minutes of yoga. But prior to that, I've been having an eventful night. I'm going to read to you what I wrote in my journal. November the 30th, 2015, approximately 11:30 p.m. Terry, who is my cabin mate, she has the room next to me, woke me up from a nightmare. I remember trying to wake myself up from whatever I was experiencing, but not being able to wake up out of the distress. I didn't realize I was actually screaming out loud. Thank you, Terry. Okay, Terry was absolutely supportive. When I realized she was in my room and waking me, first thing I felt was shame for disturbing her sleep. I'd experienced this before, and it was usually my daughter who would wake me up. And Terry came to my aid and encouraged me to not apologize for waking her and to go back to sleep. And I did. And then let me read my next entry into my journal to you. December 1st, 2015 at 4:35 a.m. At 4:27 a.m., Terry came to my aid for what I believed to be the fourth time. It was Terry and another cabin mate. I still don't know who the other cabin mate was who came. I just heard her say, "Is she all right?" And I heard Terry saying, she's been having nightmares. She'll be fine. She'll be fine. Back to my journal reading. The second time, it was 1 something in the morning that Terry came to my aid, and then the third time, it was around 3:20 or so that Terry came to my aid this morning. The third time Terry woke me out of my cry of distress, I sat on the side of the bed and realized why I've had this history of nightmares. And it took being here at Lake Crescent at the Nature Bridge Retreat Center for it all to come together for me. I'm so grateful for being here, y'all. And Terry is absolutely wonderful. I remember now the second time she came to my aid and woke me out of my nightmare. She sat with me for a brief second and rubbing my back and saying, "It'll be okay. You can go back to sleep. You can go back to sleep." And I said, "Oh my goodness, I think I made a joke about, we had burritos for dinner, and I think I made a joke about I can't eat any more burritos." And we chuckled a little bit. And then she said, "Well, it's like the little fish. I'm going to try again. I'll try it again." So she said, "You can go to sleep and try it again." So anyway, being here at Lake Crescent, it's like I'm reading from my journal now. Being here in this blanket of nature is reminiscent of where my grandparents lived, where my mother moved my younger sister and I to care for her aging parents, or so it seemed. Street, Maryland, that's the name of where we were in Maryland. Street was the name of the area we were in. And it was Quaker Church Road. And it was hills and trees and my imaginary stream of water in the day, and at night a darkness so black I couldn't see my hand if I held it to my curious eyes. This is so important to my wellness, and even more important to my life and my living. I remember last night before coming to the cabin asking our gracious and so accommodating person here to give me a flashlight. I thought that I needed the flashlight to have while I was reading in my room at night because I didn't want the overhead light on. That was my plan anyway. So I did use the flashlight to read and turned off that overhead light. But before I got to the cabin, I used the flashlight to walk back to the cabin, and I was talking with another cabin mate and saying, "Oh, this reminds me so much of when I lived with my mom and my sister out near where my grandparents lived. Like they lived at the top of the hill and we lived down below them at the basin of the hill and in a separate house. And the flashlight, I was just kind of swinging the flashlight back and forth, and I started having a flashback then. And I wrote about this in my book Plenty Hill. And this was Plenty Hill is a fictional account of my childhood. But as if you don't know, fiction has some essence of truth in it. And for me, carrying that flashlight last night and walking here to the cabin, there's a passage in my book Plenty Hill where I speak on walking down the road and the flashlight not being able to see and having the flashlight and the only light was that of coming from the flashlight. But anyway, I'll talk about Plenty Hill a little later, much later. But anyway, I just wanted to share this with you that I have had a major breakthrough in my nightmares. And it's very, very complicated, so I won't go into what the breakthrough means right now. Well, I'll talk about what the breakthrough means. It means that I have a very wonderful, wonderful, warm regeneration. I really do. I feel revigorated right now. And what's complicated is the story behind the nightmares. And I'll share that as well at a much later time. I have to work things out myself, but I do know that it's a major breakthrough, and I feel wonderful having this experience here. And it took a succession of 4 attempts at sleeping through the night and having someone come to my aid to wake me out of nightmares, and really consoling me and making me feel very, very quote unquote normal, and saying to me, it's okay, just try it again. And I did. And I did 4 times. And it's absolutely wonderful. I'm getting a little emotional because I'm happy. For the first time, I'm happy about my nightmares. And for anyone who experiences nightmares, keep trying and work with someone like I'm working with a therapist. Work with someone to help you navigate getting to the other side and of those nightmares and having a breakthrough. I'm going to stop talking right now and get my shower and prepare for my day of training here. And I just want to let you know that Wellness is an awesome place to be. All right, everybody. Talk to you soon. Love ya.